Civil rights icon, attorney James Ferguson II has passed away. We have lost a great. His long legal career paved the way for others and set milestones after milestone. Ferguson founded the state's first interracial law firm. He also litigated the landmark case Swan versus Mecklenburg County that desegregated schools nationwide. His loss is deeply felt here in our community, and here to be able to go into details on Ferguson's life and legacy here in the Queen City is our chief legal analyst, Khalif Rhodes. Khalif, first talk to us about the road that he left for so many to be able to follow.
I mean, mentor, leader, and friend. I'm happy to be able to say that is how I remember Fergie, is what we would call him. That's what his friends would call him. But by all means, a legend. I read about him when I was in law school. Got down here. He was maybe one of the first folks that I met in Charlotte. Paved the way, not just for me, but hundreds of other attorneys. So as the calls continue to pour in, the legal community in our state is small. In Charlotte is even smaller. I mean, but anyone who's even touched a law book knows Fergie. I'm talking about on an international level. He is the epitome of the legal profession in terms of the trial practice, his way of moving in and out of a courtroom, knowing how to control a jury and have them in his hand, even arguing in front of the Supreme Court on multiple cases. But talking about the things that he did here in our state. That Swan case, Brown versus Board of Education, comes out. 10 years later, schools are still segregated. Why? Because people were living in the areas of their income. And so even though the courts had said you can't have these segregated schools, people were living in areas that were predominantly white or predominantly black, and they figured out that you're still kind of skirting around Brown v. Board of Education. They filed a Swan case and say, no, you have to bus these kids, and we don't care the cost. If you're going to be compliant at what was required in Brown v. Board of Education, I need you to make sure you're busing these kids to all the schools. That was a major precedent during a time where even in our own state, you had the governor not even wanting to do those types of things. So that case took it all the way up to the Supreme Court. Those are major types of cases that his impact had, not just here, but nationwide. That case dictated to other school districts, you have to bus kids to school to ensure that they get equal access to quality education.
For people who are watching who don't know his history and don't know his background, and say you have a young person right now who says, hey, I want to go to law school, and setting forth, what kind of legacy did he leave behind? I
mean, if you're in a firm with someone like Julius Chambers, where we have Julius Chambers High School here, you're already in the shadow of a legend, but he already had his own legacy that he's left behind. So you're sitting behind and with two legends right in the same building. Chambers, you know, was arguing all those cases. Their firm was firebombed. That's the type of thing they're dealing with. In the era where people were getting hung, where people were getting lynched, and people were getting killed, they were going across our state and all around the country fighting these types of cases in the face of, you know, literal persecution. I mean, I've got folks yelling at me. I've had people say things on social media. I've never had anybody try to blow up my building. That is what they were doing, and still showing up to advocate and fight for their client. And so if you have a kid that's at school or at home thinking about going to law school, that's the model that you want to follow. Advocacy on a highest level, not being deterred, even in the face of violence, even in the face of threats, in allowing your firm to be integrated in a time where blacks and whites really didn't work together. And he took it outside of America. He went to South Africa during apartheid and taught white and black students how to navigate this legal system. I mean, his reach in the legal profession is insurmountable. I won't have a tape measure long enough to talk about the length and the breadth and the depth of how much he meant to the legal community, and its impact will be felt. They'll talk about him in law school, continue to talk about the cases that he argued, and the impact is just something that you can't capture it.
Khalif, we just appreciate your thoughts. We know this is a loss for you personally. Thank you.
Queen City News Plus. Just search Queen City News on your smart TV's app store.